How do I do? Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yo, yo, yo.
Hey, dude. How are you, man?
Good, good, good. I just got done with a fucking 4 a.m. flight, just nonstop, meetings all day. I'm in Leawood, Kansas. I just downed a quick whiskey ginger to get ready for this. Let's do it, baby.
Okay, I'm just going to send a chat fuel
Perfect.
broadcast. Remind these people, add button, URL.
All right, so we are live. We are live. We are live, Scott. It looks like everything is working on our website. That's good. And I'm just going to log in on YouTube so I can be on the chat. And yeah, we're 7 minutes to kickoff. So how you doing today?
Man, I'm tired, to be honest. It's been a long couple of days for me doing all the stuff that
You're
I'm
tired. Well, yeah, prepping. You've done a lot to prep for this webinar, and yeah, to add a lot of the content, get this presentation ready. So everybody should be in for
it's been hard.
A pretty good one today. I'm going to turn on the light behind me. I'm in a hotel.
It's been harsh for me. Okay, let me just check a couple of things. All right. You're in a hotel room?
I'm in a hotel room, and I'm in Aloft. They're really nice, actually. They're really
That's a cool chain. It's like a crappy W hotel, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, but it's like it's designed for people my age. It's nice. It's hip. It's got pretty colors. It's got a bar right in there, so it's good. No, can't complain.
All right. So it's 5:54 a.m. here in Bangkok. We're gonna kick this off soon. So let me try and remember. How did we?
The cursor.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to ask?
Yeah.
The cursor, I believe, is done either within PowerPoint itself or Google or the Google presentation you use.
Yeah, that's fucking useful, bro. It's either done in one or the other. Thank you, man.
I don't know because I've never presented. You're always the one to present, so you're the one. You're the one that's got to remember. You think I know?
All right, man. Let me just test this shit.
Eventually, I'll present one. Eventually, we'll do one on the RTV system. We'll do a Scalpius webinar, and I'll be the presenter. And
Okay.
So, is it within the Hangouts itself? I can see your screen now.
Okay, can you see the pointer? Yeah.
Yeah, let me double check. Yeah, I can see the pointer. You're all set. So you want to show yourself for the first couple minutes and then show your screen?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Hey, do you have the direct YouTube link? Here, I'll find it.
Yeah, let me find it.
Just because I like to watch it from there, because then I can mute it so I don't have it echo.
Just go to YouTube. It's like
I sent it to you yesterday.
I'll find it. Yeah, or something, right?
Let me go ahead.
Events.
Okay, I think I got it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
All right, so we only got 17 people on. Did you send the email to the whole list, or who
no,
did you remind?
I didn't. Let me just send it again. Broadcast. Send the broadcast.
And you are sharing your screen.
Am I?
Yeah. So we've added a lot of exciting things so far, and we have more we're going to add, right? There's more on my to-do list, with Scalpius and everything else. So this is exciting stuff we're adding here.
Yeah, it's really cool now. It's
Yeah.
I'm pumped about it. It's taking it to the next level.
Dude, that momentum system that you did on Quantopian, I'm almost tempted just to trade that myself. It's just,
and the changes that we made to make it so good were like really fucking logical things. Like when I pulled it apart, it just started off as being like this standard, like very corporate system. They want to have 50 positions at once. They want them all volatility weighted. They want to exclude this, they want to exclude that. It was like almost like the standard momentum models are designed for average performance with just a little bit more concentration and a little bit more flexibility on the universe. The performance just went through the roof.
Wow.
So
can you automate? Can I run that? Like, can I set up an IB account, auto it, and it'll just execute? Or do I have to look at a list each week and do it myself? But it's easy, right?
It's halfway between. So you can do.
Okay, so it's like a signal service. It's kind of like a signal service.
You can do both, but it's like a signal service. How I would run it is a signal service that you run yourself. I mean, we all know that unless you're a programmer, running things hands off is just a dream. That
even if you're a programmer, there's no such thing as hands off. You still have to reconcile, you still have to check, you still have to verify. There's so much. Remember, we did it for 6 months, and we were like, this is adding more work than just trading manually.
Yeah. That's like a dream for children, right? Back in the real world, back in the real world, you have to check shit. You can't just leave a computer running with hundreds of thousands of dollars and just go to the beach and not check it. Like, that's just idiotic. You can yell and scream all you like when the computer loses you all your money, but you got to check. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Wake up, get back to the real world, But it's a dope system. It's not curve fitting. In fact, to make it that performance, we took out a bunch of the bullshit rules that are in all the standard models. So the standard models are doing things like excluding things that have gone up more than 5% in the last 30 days. So excluding high volatility takeover, trying to exclude takeover targets was the goal, because you don't want to be momentuming long into a gap up on news. But that also takes away a lot of your performance too. Like, if something's, you can have a breakaway gap as well as an exhaustion gap, right?
Yeah.
And what I like about that system is that it's 100% mechanical. So there is no decision. Like, it's not like Thor, which is mechanical, but you have to decide, do I like gold or do I like silver? It's like there's no decides.
There's no decides. This is it. It makes it easier. It makes it a lot easier. Hey, so it's 7:01. We only have about 20 people on right now. You want to just slowly get started? What do you want to do? You want to talk at first and then get into it as more people join?
All right. So, why don't we? What do you think we should do?
Let's slowly get into it. If you want to unshare your screen just so we can see you and talk for a couple minutes, let more people join. Did you send an email, let everybody know we're starting right now?
I did let an email and let everyone know we're starting. So I am screen sharing. I'm stopping screen sharing. This is me. This is my place in Bangkok. I just moved to a new place, which is why it's all messy. You can see there's crap in the background. Just had the camera out yesterday. Say hello to Bangkok in the morning. It's big city stuff, right?
You like the new place? Nicer than the old place in Sayari?
I like the old place, to be honest. The old place is really
It's a good condo.
The Ari is my favorite suburb in Bangkok, but the food around here is fucking fantastic, bro. It's really good, and my wife's work is across the road, so instead of
and I'll be over there soon. I'll be 1 kilometer from you, so we can sync up more. That'll be good.
Yeah. You could walk over to my place.
I'll walk over, and you will take the moto over to my place, right?
I don't walk, man.
I know you don't walk. So what are we going to talk about today? What are we going to do?
Right, today's about high performance system trading. So let me kick it off.
Yeah, let's kick it off. I'll intro you. I'm Daniel. This is Scott. You guys know Scott Phillips. You might not know me. I'm Daniel Spohr, and I work closely with Scott here. We've been trading together for somewhere between the last 5 and 8 years, probably the last 5 years, really full-time in a really professional way. Before that, developing systems, learning, and everything else. So, yeah, we trade primarily in a daily time frame, a little bit of a 4-hour, and we're going to share some of our systems today, talk about the system building masterclass, talk about how to build professional systems. So I'll kick it over to you, Scott. I'll just chime in. I'll moderate the chat, but this is your show, so let's kick it off.
All right, let's kick it off. So you can see the screen, right?
Yep, we can see now.
All right. So today we're talking about high-performance system trading, and this is a webinar by both of us. Daniel is... I designed this system in 2013, and we started trading it together in 2014. And we've been trading it ever since. It's a cool system, and I'm looking forward to showing it to you today. And, whoa, did I kill the screen share then?
Yeah, you did. It's back now.
Okay, so what you're going to learn today is you're going to learn how to take the confusion and the fear and the stress and the inconsistency out of your trading, which is really the hardest thing about discretionary trading, while you're spending less time at the trading screen. And you're not going to have to learn any new technical analysis methods. You're not going to have to learn some new complicated stuff. This is super simple. It's trading for dummies, basically. So I'll be demonstrating my Thor trend following system live in front of you shortly, even though I did a quick check a few minutes ago and there's no setups for today, which is annoying. But I'll show you some from yesterday anyway. Also,
that's good, but that's real. All you're going to get, it happens once or twice a month. You get no setups at all, and it's nice. It's like a day off. But some days you get a ton of setups, and then you have a lot of decisions. So that's just real trading, right?
So it rains or it pours. It never rains and then it pours. So you're going to get the first look at the System Building Masterclass version 2.0, and we've beefed it up. So this marketing guy that we've employed told us I need to give you an ethical bribe, and we do cash bribes only. So if you're going to stay to the end, I'm going to give you a PDF document with the exact entry setup rules for the system you're going to see today, a detailed discussion of how you can adapt this type of setup for yourself in your own systems or just use it as is. And also you're going to get a series of videos of me executing the system every day over consecutive days. This is really going to help you put it all together or adapt the concepts here for your own systems. So this maybe isn't like some of the other webinars you've seen where people are giving you 5% of the information you need and trying to do some bait and switch marketing crap. This isn't like that. I'm just going to vomit every bit of information I have about this system onto you. I speak really quickly and I don't want you to miss details. So please switch off your phones, your Facebook, your Skype, anything else that's going to distract you. This is a one-shot deal. I'm just going to teach you my system and you really need to pay attention. So who is Scott Phillips? I'm a trader and I'm not a trading educator because most of those guys are scams, in my opinion. And most of you either know me from the Price Action Masterclass or my emails. But what you may not know is that I'm a fully systematic trader. and I'm primarily in the futures markets, but also in stock FX and crypto. And I take about 500 trades in a normal year across 4 core systems. And most traders specialize in one narrow area of design, but through my weird upbringing, I'm fortunate to have been exposed to many different system types, and especially both discretionary and mechanical system types, automated and non-automated, trend following and mean reversion, and particularly through working with my previous mentors, who were Ivan Krastens, who invented the patterns that we talk about sometimes, Linda Raschke, who's a market wizard, Al Brooks, who's probably taught me most of what I know about price action, Van Tharp, who taught me how to build discretionary systems, Ed Sikota, who taught me about trading psychology and trend following, Ken Long and Gabriel Grammatidis, who taught me their systems, Michael, who's Mole from Evil Speculator, and a hedge fund guy called Laurent Bernoux, who's been a huge influence on me, and many more. And I've done some stuff right, I've done some stuff wrong, but the stuff I discovered the hard way, you get to cheat and discover the easy way. So
just to jump in, of all the people you mentioned, what we learned from Laurent, that Laurent oscillator, that was a game changer in my trading. Shutting systems off when they're underperforming, huge. And yeah, that was a game changer, I think, in our approach to system trading.
Me too. So most of us have a fundamental misconception about trading. We read a bunch of books, we browse a bunch of web blogs and websites, and most of us either start on learning technical analysis or fundamental analysis, and technical analysis is easier, so we gravitate to it. We find a chart we like and we place a trade. And it seems easy in retrospect, and it seems easy before you do it, but on the hard right edge of the chart, when you're doing it in real time, it really is a lot more difficult than it seemed like it was going to be. And this sort of freewheeling, what we call shoot from the hip style trading, it's the hardest type of trading there is. So the question I have for you is, why do we try the hardest thing before the easier way? So the 3 secrets of system trading is, number 1, system trading isn't just more profitable. It's far easier. Far easier. And you're going to see that today. And number 2, getting better and better at technical analysis won't make you consistently profitable. One of my buddies is this guy, Tim Knight, who runs a really nice blog called Slope of Hope. And he is the best chartist that I know. He is the best guy at reading charts I've ever seen. And he lost money, maybe 9 years in a row he's lost money. And he's a wonderful guy. He's a serious market guy. He's a good chartist. And he's a better chartist than he was 10 years ago, and he can't make any money, and he can't figure it out. And that's what's going to happen to you if you just keep on getting better and better at reading these charts. It's a dead end. You can't get to where you want to go on that road. And number 3 is that we spend a lot of time thinking about trading psychology, but most trading psychology problems completely disappear when you trade with a system. So this was me before. I was constantly worrying about the stock market. I used to spend a lot of time on seeking alpha, researching news and opinions, and like a lot of us, I wanted to feel right and feel smart, so I was biased towards market crashes and counter trend moves. So I would always see a market that was about to turn, and that's a very dangerous thing for a trader. It's a dangerous thing for any trader. So afterwards, this is me. I don't really care. Stock market's going to be up, stock market's going to be down, stock market's going to be unchanged. I cannot affect that. So my job is to follow my trading rules, and it's not to worry about things that I can't control. And what I've observed is that you get really stressful feedback loops when you worry about things you can't change. So what happens is that you get stressed because you don't know what the stock market's going to do tomorrow. So you try and take away that stress by Googling a bunch of news about it. And then it makes you even more stressed, and you get upset when you read someone who's got a contrary opinion to you, and you end up more stressed, not less stressed. And at the end of the day, the market's going to do what the market's going to do, and it's best to just accept that. So my opinion is that most trading psychology problems aren't really trading psychology problems at all. Most trading psychology problems can be fixed just by trading properly, which is what I'm going to show you today. So why trend following? Because we are absolutely stone cold certain it is an edge. There's 400 billion of institutional money trading this kind of stuff. The edging trends will not be easily arbitraged away. It's been a consistent edge for over 200 years. It probably will be in over 200 years' time. And I'm going to introduce to you now the Thor trend following setup. So the Thor system is one of three, now four production systems I run. The others are a short squeeze system, a mean reversion system, and also a 4-hour mechanical system. It is maybe 95% mechanical, 5% discretion. And this is discussed in the PDF. There's a couple of exceptions which lower the odds of success of the trade that are really quite difficult to define, but really easy to see. So you give yourself 5% ability to skip a trade that you like in very limited circumstances. So I've been trading this with my own account since 2004, and I collaborated with Michael from Evil Speculator to automate it. But after trying full automation, it's a very difficult thing to trade full automated unless you're a programmer. There's a lot of checking that data feeds are right, checking that logs match up with your actual fills. There's a lot of time involved, actually. I have a strong preference for trading it manually. It takes less time and it's more accurate in my book. The Thor system worked very well in 2008, 2001 crisis events. All trend following works well in crisis events. Now, it tends to have 2 or 3 super performance periods per year, lasting 3 to 6 weeks and making 80% of yearly profits, which is not ideal. It's kind of annoying, actually. And all trend following systems do this. They behave in this annoying fashion where you, for a very short period, you're just printing money and then you're just trying to hang on.
Yeah, personally, I find it difficult to trade emotionally, especially if it's the only thing you do, because when you're on top of it, you feel like you can't fail, and that's not the case because then they'll go into drawdown. But they're excellent when it's 2008, of course, and crisis events. So you really need a trend following system in your portfolio of systems. But you have to acknowledge that they're hard emotionally to trade.
Well, and if you think about it, that's why they work. Right. The market rewards you for doing the thing that other people don't have the balls to do. Who has the balls to lose 10 times in a row and step up and take that next swing? Most people don't. They pussy out after 3 losers. They pussy out after 3 losers and say, "Oh, no, this system doesn't work. I'm gonna Google for a new system." So upsides of the system. So that's the downside. The upside is it takes 10 to 30 minutes to execute per day. It's got very limited discretion, about 5%. So you can't just decide, I like this trade and I'm going to take it. And the discretion is for almost a setup within the spirit of the system, but a tick or two off. So, and you'll see what I mean in a minute, a nearly hammer in a very strong trend or something like that. And the other discretion is that late in trend, the increase in volatility indicates that the trend may be bending. So an increase in volatility at the end of the trend indicates caution and that we should be able to skip. So how do we handle this? We add to a discretion tab on our trading sheet and we check once a month to see how it went. And if we skip 5 trades and that saved us money, we can use discretion again this month. If we didn't make money, we can't use discretion again the next month. So you're only using discretion or flexibility while it's actually working. You're not, if you're behaving like an idiot, you have to stop. So why give it away for free? And that's easy. Some people don't think they can come up with a creative idea for an entry setup. Just use mine. And I've gotten huge results from sharing my trading methods and results. By sharing what I know, great traders have wanted to collaborate with me and share me their systems, which, and most of the stuff in the system building masterclass, which I'll show you a bit later, is stuff that really great traders shared with me. So as a result, the caliber of people that I'm collaborating with these days, they're hedge fund, investment bank traders, HFT programmers, economists, and every good thing that's happened to me in my life came from helping another person and being honest about my knowledge and sharing everything that I have openly. So it's one of those situations where it's working for me as a life strategy, so I'm not going to change it. So I personally hate the trading educator industry. And I love giving away better stuff than they charge for. And I personally wasted years on baseless theories, dead ends, the DeMark indicators, wave theory, Carolyn cycles, all that garbage, the shit that just doesn't work, that is it's like a moth to a flame for beginner traders. I wasted all of that stuff. So I would like to save others the suffering that I experienced. And it doesn't cost me anything to share. The things that I share are strong edges that aren't going to be easily arbitraged away. If I'm sharing some system that is very execution specific that can be arbed away, yeah, I probably wouldn't share it. So traditional trend following versus Thor. So traditional trend following is low, very low wick, 30%, and high drawdown, up to 60%. So what I wanted was to tweak this into a setup with a higher win rate, up to about 50%. Can't really get better than that with trend following, and smaller drawdowns. And to increase the win rate, I needed to be more specific. And this is a key concept that you're going to see in all system building. You just get very specific and you want the exact thing that you want. So how did I design this setup? So the traditional trend following is a trend filter plus a breakout, which is about 30% win rate, or a trend filter plus a pullback, which is about 40% win rate. So here we have Thor is a trend filter plus a pullback plus a price pattern, which is about 50% win rate. So I've just added one extra thing, and we're not going too much into the curve fitting area there. So how do we set up your charts? I'm going to get you to put two EMAs, and the EMAs don't mean anything. They're just visual aids. You're going to put an EMA 8 and an exponential moving average 21. We're going to put the standard Bollinger Bands 2 and 20. We're going to use the EMAs as a trend filter. I'll show you this in a moment. When the EMA 8 is above the EMA 21, we're going to take long trades only. When the EMA 8 is below the EMA 21, we're going to take short trades only. So it's easier to see it. So the blue line is below the purple line. We're going to look at short trades only. It has this crossover. The blue line is above the purple line. We're going to take long trades only. And I know what you're thinking. It's like moving averages are so lagging. Yeah, they are lagging. But that lag actually helps us, because if you look at where the crossover happens, it happens here, which is a bit after the trend's begun. And what we're trying to capture is a trend that's already moving. We're not trying to catch the start of a trend. We're not trying to catch the end of a trend where it gets all dodgy. We're just trying to eat the fillet in the middle of the trend. So I always think of it, not the head, not the tail, just the fillet. So you can see here, short trades only, blue line below the purple, long trades only, blue line above the purple. So the rules: trend filter, EMA 8 is above the EMA 21, then a pullback that touches either or both of the EMAs. Then a price pattern that tells us that the pullback is probably finished, which is a hammer candle for a long or a shooting star candle for a short. Now I'll define those both in a minute. So you can see here, a hammer candle is a visual representation of a failed attempt to drive the market down. And it's defined as a candle with a lower wick. This is the lower wick, which is equal to or greater than 2 times the real body and a close in the upper half of the range. So you can see, even though this one is red and this one is green, it still closes in the upper half of the range. They still have long wicks, and they still both touch here. So these are long setups, and these are the reverse, the short setups. Everyone got that? Okay, you're going to get the exact rules in the PDF. So right now, it's only important to grasp the concept. You get the full rules at the end anyway. And the important thing is that we're trying to take only long trades in up moves and vice versa. So we're trying to follow the trend. So we're looking for a pullback and then a hammer candle. And the hammer candle is a failed attempt to drive the market down. So it's only important to grasp the concept. You're going to get the full rules at the end, but a hammer candle looks like this or like this. We're trying to take only long trades in up moves and only short trades in down moves. So a pullback, then a hammer candle, and the hammer candle is a failed attempt to drive the market down, and its mirror, an upside down hammer, is a shooting star. So let's revisit again so that everyone's got this. So we've got the trend filter, element 1. Element 2, a pullback that touches either or both of the EMAs. 3, a price pattern, which is the hammer candle. Got that? So how do we stop ourselves from taking trades when the market is not trending? Because the market doesn't trend for a very long period of time. So when the Bollinger Bands are flat or falling, we need to have 1.2 R to the upper Bollinger. And I'll show you what this means. So we measure the distance from here to here, from entry point to stop loss, And then when the Bollinger Band turns down, it's difficult to see it, but it does turn down. We measure from here to here, and we check, do we have 1.2R to the upper Bollinger? And if we don't have 1.2R, then it's likely to hit resistance and turn down, so we don't have an acceptable risk to reward ratio. So, number one, we have the EMA filter is bullish once we have this crossover. We have a pullback and a hammer candle touching the EMA, and we have the upper Bollinger rising. So we enter long right here with a stop loss here. You can see that this is never touched. If you miss that one, you get another opportunity to enter here, which also worked. Everyone got that? Okay, so let's look at the EMA filter is clearly bearish. We've got a beautiful short setup. We've got one here. Got one here. Got one here. So here we get multiple trades in the direction of the trend. Now you're entering short on the break of this candle, stop at the high, and you can see it runs all the way down without your stop ever being threatened. Same as this one runs all the way down without your stop ever being threatened. The same as this one runs down without your stop being threatened. Got that, everyone? So how do I check the markets? I do things in a logical order. I check which trades I currently have open, and I make a note if anything needs to be changed. I check the markets in the same order every day in logically grouped workspaces. So I do it. Indexes, energy, bonds, beans, grains, metals, and currencies. And personally, I like to leave currencies to last because they're the most difficult. Why are they the most difficult? Because they're the most similar. So the AUD USD is like the NZD USD, and the Euro USD is like the GBP USD. And they're so similar that you can often fool yourself by taking a lot of trades. So here's a pro tip. Instead of worrying about whether 30 different markets are going to be up or down tomorrow, you only have one job. And your job is to look at every chart and answer the question, is there a setup, yes or no? So I like this show, The Sopranos old show, and this guy joins the mafia, and this mean-looking old dude, he sits him down and says, you only have one thing to worry about now. Like, your worry in life is kicking up your 10% to this guy, and his worry is kicking up his 10% to his guy. So traders have a lot to worry about in their life. They have all this stuff, all this information to take in, worry about what the Fed's going to do, worry about what this announcement's going to be, worry about the effect of news, worry about analysts. But when you throw all that garbage away and you have only one thing to worry about, do I have a setup? If I have a setup, should I take that setup? It just makes life easier. So just for today, I'm going to choose not to judge myself on how much money I made. Instead, you're going to reframe yourself and judge your performance by two things. Number one, did you execute today mistake-free? That's the big thing. Did I do my job? You have one job. Your job is to see a setup and execute that setup. Number two is, am I averaging less than one mistake in 20 trades? So we're talking about the fox and the hedgehog here. So the fox knows many things. He knows about analyst reports. He knows what time the Fed announcement is coming. He knows about intermarket correlations. He knows about all this stuff. But the hedgehog only knows one thing. He only knows, do I have a setup? Take the setup. So if you study any expert predictions, especially analysts and market pundits and all kinds of people who look good in suits on CNBC, the more confident they are, the less accurate they are. And I've experienced the same thing. So I kept a diary once. I rated my confidence in my trades. And out of 89 trades in my journal, every single time I thought a trade was a complete lockdown, it lost. So I experienced this yesterday. I was on a call with Peter, and he was talking about he had a winning trade, but he just didn't want to take it. It was it was really an upsetting trade to take. And I pointed out that those are generally the best trades. The best trades aren't the ones that you think, oh my God, that's a setup. I got to take that right now. I got to take that right now. The best trades are the ones you think, oh, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's a setup, but I got to take it. So in the book Good to Great, Jim Collins, he states that all good to great leaders, all great leaders are hedgehogs. They know how to simplify a complex world into a simple unifying idea. And so which do you think is easier? So trying to on one hand, you've got trying to predict what the stock, the bonds, the futures and FX markets do every single day from now until retirement age. And number two is follow a simple set of rules and don't make any mistakes. So most losing traders pick and choose their trades, and most winning traders use the system. And that's important. So I'm gonna revisit it. Most losing traders pick and choose their trades, and most winning traders use the system. And it's that simple, really. Which side are you on? And now we're going to watch me do my day's trading right in front of you. Let me show you how I do that.
Hey, before you get into it, you want to answer one or two questions?
Sure, man. Right.
All right. I've been answering most of them, but I got a good one I think I want you to answer. Let me get the exact words. It was about the wick of a, so the question was, do candles with a bigger wick have a greater edge?
No, with the exception of one specific type of candle, which is a massive range hammer or a massive range shooting star. If it's an abnormally large range, then yes, they have a bigger edge, but they also counteract for that bigger edge by having fewer outlier wins.
Right. So you got to book it. You got to book it at 1.2 R. If it's a big range, it's probably not going to get to 3 R. It might, but it might take it weeks or even a month or two.
Yeah, and it's not really a function of the shooting star. It's a simple function of logic, which is the wider you stop, the greater your winning percentage, right? Makes perfect sense, right?
And I will say the tiny range candles are, they seem great. Oh, it's going to be so easy to get to 3R, 4R, 5R, but chances are you're probably going to get stopped out. It's going to whipsaw before you go in the direction.
So the very small range candles behave fundamentally different. So they have a lot of outlier wins, but they also have a lower win rate. So it works out about the same in the long term, but a lower win rate and more outlier wins means much more standard deviation between the results, and so it means higher drawdown. So if you have a choice, if they work, they tend to be 4R winners, but they work at a lower rate. Okay, so I'm going to show you
two more quick ones. One, do you think this will work on stocks, individual stocks?
I think
on large caps it will, and ETFs. I wouldn't do this on small stocks.
I think it works on stocks on weekly basis only. There's too much gap in
on a weekly. That's a good idea. Yeah, there's too much gap. Even, I mean, maybe it'll work on an Apple or something, but you're right. I think weekly's better. And the other question is, why aren't you using ATR like the previous system to enter during periods of low volatility to increase your edge? And I think that's a good question because there's an element to the system where you could use ATR.
Let me show you what.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put ATR up. Okay. We have this part of the move is a decreasing volatility trend. So this is a trend in which you're very likely to get trend continuation, right? So anything here is a lock for trend continuation, but we're using such very tight stops that you can see here, well, we hit our profit target here. Here we were stopped out even during a low volatility time. So and here in a high volatility time, we've got a winning trade. So it's not necessarily you can use ATR to exclude high volatility trades at the end of a trend, but overall it requires interpretation. And with this system, I wanted to get away from interpretation, and I wanted to get away from what do you think, and is this one going to work, and is that one going to work? So this one, the failed breakout system and the 4-hour mechanical system, we're going for a very high win rate. So we're going for a very high win rate, and there's some discretion in the mechanical system and quite a lot in the failed breakout system. This one has almost no discretion. So if you're going to start excluding this and excluding that, it becomes very complicated. And I didn't want to go down that route. So this is by definition a lower win rate system and higher drawdowns than both of those systems. So it's also a lot easier because there's no thinking. All right, questions before we go?
Nope, keep it going.
All right. So what I do is I look at every market well, what have I done there? Okay, I've just hit the where's NQ? Okay. I look at every market in the same order and say, do we have a hammer candle touching the EMA? And we don't. We did yesterday, and I'll cover that in a minute.
I also don't want you to gloss over that point. You said something really important just now. You look every day the markets in the same order.
It's very
that creates habit and lowers your mistake rate over time. And if you're constantly switching your orders, first you look at indices, the next day you look at gold first, you're going to end up making mistakes. You want this to become a consistent process, and you want your mistake rate to get to near zero. And that's huge. That's a huge.
So I had a message today from actually a little bit disgruntled customer. He's saying, I was watching your video and you just said this one is not a setup, and you just glossed it over. I need more information, and I want to address that now. Like, no, you don't fucking need more information. It's not a setup. End of story. It's not a hammer candle. End of story. That's it. Stop thinking about it. This one, I don't need to go into some complicated diatribe about what's happening here. I don't need to read the price action here. Not a setup. Not a setup. Not a setup. Everyone can see those are not a setups. So this is E-mini, Dow Jones, NASDAQ. Crude oil, strong trend, not a setup. Too bad. Natural gas, great trend, not a setup. US dollar index, boom, strong trend, breakout, not a setup. Everyone got that? Now, one thing I want to point out is that a couple of days ago, this was a setup. So how do we handle that? Like, for instance, a couple of days ago, we have this setup. We have this set. A couple of days ago, we have this setup in the E-mini and the Dow Jones at the same time. You can't take them both. How do you trade it? I take the strongest market, and the Dow Jones has been stronger than the S&P, and the NASDAQ has been the weakest for quite some time. So
how do you define stronger?
Stronger is breaking the all-time highs first, holding above the all-time highs, holding above recent highs, or closer to the old highs if neither of them are broken out. And you can see this one is stronger because it's above old highs, and the E-mini is below old highs, right?
And it's much cleaner. You look at the YM there, that's a very clean up, down, up. You look at the ES, it's all over the place. And that's subjective, but you can see that,
You're looking at a boxing match. Which boxer you want to bet on, the strong one or the weak one? I want to bet on the strong one. Okay, so moving on. So I check the bonds next. I have it on a different workspace. Okay, not a setup. Cannot be a setup. No shooting star, right? Not a setup. Strong trend. Bullshit, strong trend. Strong trend. And we're already short here on this one. And from a couple of days ago, you can see shooting star, short here, stop here. We get one little retest, and then it falls off the plate overnight. That's a nice trade. That's going to run. Okay, so we're in a trade, but we have no trades today. Nothing to do there. So beans and grains, we've got, what do we got here? We've got the soybeans, we got the soybean meal, we got the corn. Soybeans. cannot be a setup. Corn cannot be a setup. Wheat cannot be a setup. ZM cannot be a setup. Got that? Easy. So really it's 2 seconds. Just cannot be a setup, cannot be a setup. Let's look at some metals. Okay, gold cannot be a setup. Silver cannot be a setup. That's not a setup. It has too much of a lower wick on palladium. Copper cannot be a setup. And platinum cannot be a setup. End of the story. It's done, right? Now let's go to currencies. That bar cannot be a setup, not a shooting star. Aussie dollar, not a setup. Kiwi dollar, not a setup. Cable, not a setup. USD CAD, weird gap, and not a setup. USD JPY, really great trend. High volatility stage, not a setup. Euro US dollar, not a setup, but that's falling off the plate. And USD CHF. So all of these would be fantastic intraday 4-hour failed breakout trades. I'd be looking very hard at those today, but not setups. So at this point, we have nothing to do today. So I'm going to okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation, and after seeing me trade, do you think you could execute a system like that? Like, do you think that you could summon the level of skill? Because we get this idea that, oh yeah, sure, you could do it, Scott, but you've been doing this for years and you're an expert and blah blah blah. You know, I really honestly don't think I demonstrated a lot of expertise there. Like, I don't think I did anything that my cat couldn't do if it had opposable thumbs.
Well, you know, from someone who's done this system, you know, you built the system and then I started trading the system. Your first week, you suck at it. It's really hard. It takes you a long time. You're looking at each chart. You make mistakes. And then you get better. And then you become flawless. And then you can go through 40 markets in 10 minutes after a few months. I think that's the progress. You know, your first week you do it, you're going to be like, man, this is hard. This is boring. I have to check each market. There's specific rules. Well, I really like that setup. What if that one works? And you can't. It's a system. It's specific. But then it gets easy. So anybody can do it.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so some of you have seen that video of me trading the system from the ICU when my kidneys failed and I was like hours away from dying, and I still managed to wake up and do my stuff. And
I still don't know why you didn't just let me trade that day. It was you insisted on trading. I mean, I was healthy, I was at home, and you were just like, yeah, I'm gonna trade. But you could do it if you're sick.
Yeah. Well, how do you plan to run your trading business through life's ups and downs? So everyone thinks I'm going to be this discretionary trader. I'm going to be on top of my game all the time. But life isn't like that. You break up with your girlfriend. You eat a bad burrito. You stub your toe. Your landlord won't fix your toilet, and you're furious at him. You know, taxi driver lets you out of the wrong place. You know, a bad thing happens in your day, and if you're trading. If you're trading without a fixed set of rules, that stuff actually affects you. You know, you go out to your favorite breakfast place and they cook you a crappy breakfast. You come home in a bad mood and you trade like shit. Like, you don't want to be in that situation where the external world influences your internal trading. So what if I told you that this is actually the most difficult system that I trade, and the others that I trade are simply way easier, like way simpler? So how much are you going to make trading with a system? So on average, this is a question of maths. It's not a story. Expectancy per trade times the number of trades times your risk level. So if you take 200 trades, which is 1 per trading day, and you average 0.2 expectancy, which is reasonable but not amazing, and you risk 1% per trade, you're going to make on average 40% per year plus a little bit, because compounding increases it a bit higher. But trend following is very lumpy, so you're going to make all of that in a couple of times a year. So how would it feel to achieve your financial goals through trading the markets? And let me ask you a question. So how would your life change if you were trading like this now instead of how you trade now. And it's not just about the money. How would it feel to be in a drawdown and to be absolutely certain that the system was going to pull you out of drawdown and it wasn't all up to you and you didn't have to just get your stuff together and just trade like a demon to pull out of that drawdown? How would it feel to be certain that drawdowns were temporary and that you're always going to recover in the end? And so let me ask you one more question is, can I offer you my help in making this a reality for you? So would you like to work with me directly and together we can implement this stuff that we talked about today? So any more questions on Thor before I move on? All right.
Nope.
So I'm going to introduce the System Building Masterclass version 2.0, which we're very proud of. It's all revised, greatly expanded, and it was great before, and it's just amazing now. So what we have is over 12 hours of video teaching you how to build and test high expectancy trading systems. We have every single one of my production trading system rules, including a couple that I haven't released before, and easy to follow instructions. We have the massive library of trading systems. So the System Building Masterclass is really 3 courses in one. So the first course is my complete library of present and historical trading systems, everything I've ever done. Number 2 is my library of systems used by other professional traders that I've collaborated with or swapped systems with over the years. And number 3 is the greatest work ever completed on the science and art of designing, prototyping, optimizing, testing, and implementing professional grade trading systems. So my personal trading systems is all of the trading system rules which I use every day. So the Thor entry setup that I showed you with the exit rules, with easy to follow instructions, with black and white rules, with screenshots, with examples, with spreadsheet templates. And the spreadsheet templates are really useful. And it's everything to get you up and running and trading as soon as possible. It's every single system that I've traded for the last decade. So what are my personal trading systems? It's the Crazy Ivan FX system that Daniel and I started out with. The E-mini daily chart system, which is a variant of that, using signals off the S&P index instead of the E-mini. We have the Protect plug-in exit methodology, which you can just plug into any sort of marginal edge, and it drastically improves sort of simple and marginal edges. It's a very useful tool in your toolbox. We have the mechanical stock momentum system, which is perfect for further modification or personalization. We have deep dive videos on my 3 best ideas for improvement. We also have the new standard momentum system version 2.0, which I'll talk about in a minute, which is amazing. We have my personal Bitcoin and altcoin systems. So those are useless until Bitcoin and altcoins start becoming in a bull market again. But when they do, they're going to be very useful. We have the failed breakout system, which is probably the highest performing system in the masterclass. It's for FX, it's for CFDs, it's for futures. It's a 65% win rate, 0.5 expectancy, high skill, high return, requires a lot of practice, but it is an amazing system. We have the 4-hour pattern-based system, which is the one I personally trade. It's a more mechanical version of this above system, and I personally like it better. It's the one that I trade intraday. We have the Thor trend following daily system, which I've just demonstrated. We have the Scalpius mean reversion system, which is superb. It's a 0.28 expectancy. It's a lovely system. It's simpler than Thor. It works exactly the same way, exactly the same charts. And we have my personal long-term trend following futures system, which actually just this month pulled out a drawdown, which I'm happy about. So it's not just some PDF document with the rules. We've got detailed written and video instructions. We've got spreadsheet templates to get you up and trading faster and reduce mistakes from the get-go. We've got deep dive videos on the conceptual underpinnings behind the systems for deep knowledge. And that's important because you really need to understand the how and the why of how these things work. You can't just it's naive to think that just knowing the rules is enough, because what happens is the first time you get into a drawdown, you think the system stopped working. So we've got numerous videos of me executing system trades live, showing you the exact process start to finish. And we've got the kind of tips and tricks that you only get after a few years of trading. So I'm basically going to shortcut your journey with all the stuff that I know. Now, new for version 2.0 is the Scalpius Core mean reversion system, and we've got two versions. We have a high win rate version, which is a 62% win rate, which is what we started out trading. It's got an expectancy 0.24, and a student of mine developed a lower win rate version, which outperforms it. So his 50% win rate version outperforms it with expectancy 0.28, basically a bigger target. It works for futures, it works for FX, it works for CFDs, it works slightly better for FX. There is an intraday scalping version as well, and it is suitable for automation, and we have automated. This one is 100% rule-based, so not 95% like all this. This is 100% rule-based. There's no discretion. Shut up and take the trade. So if you're the type of person that just wants it simple, this is it. So technically, this is a very easy system to trade. It's a simple rule set. It's suitable for beginners. We're going to introduce some daily chart signals as well shortly.
Hey, this is the Scalpius. This is the RTV, right? This is the one.
This is Daniel's baby. Daniel has built a number of systems which sucked.
Which sucks, right? That's not my specialty. And this is
this one, which was dope. This is his masterwork. This is all you.
This is my life's work. I did not want to give this away. I'm always one to give things away. Usually when we give stuff away, you can thank me for it. But this one I didn't want to give away. Scott convinced me. This is a good system. It's easy to trade. It is easier than Thor. It's a mean reversion system. I can't believe you're giving this away. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we had some disagreement about this, right?
Yeah. So give it away. It's good. It's
really good. It's really good.
It's really good. You know what I like about it? You don't lose a lot because it's mean reversion. You win 50 to 60% of your trades, and you never get more than a couple losses in a row. And as long as you're not trading the same correlated markets, if you pick 10 to 20 markets, it's really uncorrelated. Yeah, can't believe you're giving it away.
Okay, so we've got the Thor trend following system, which I've just demonstrated to you. So it runs at an expectancy 0.21, win rate 50%. It works off daily bars, FX futures, CFDs. We have the failed breakout intraday FX system. This is a fabulous system. This is the highest performing system in actually maybe the 3-minute chart outperforms it, but that requires more skill. To me, this is the perfect system if you have a small account and you need to compound it into a big account and you're prepared to put in the work. It's about 40% discretion, 60% rules-based, so there's a significant amount of discretion. It also performs the fucking house down. Expectancy 0.5, win rate 60%. The original guy claimed a win rate of 65%, but I've never been able to achieve that in the real world. My results are consistently about 60%. It's extremely high-performing intraday system. It takes entries off 5-minute charts. It's based on Gabriel Grammatidis' busted breakout system. It's a simplification of that to reduce some curve fitting. We have the mechanical 4-hour system, my favorite system right now. It's maybe 30% discretion, 70% rules-based. So what you do is you select 3 markets every day that you're going to trade, and that's your discretion. Once you select those markets, you trade those markets like a robot. So once you've decided at the start of the day, I'm going to trade Aussie dollar, I'm going to trade euro, I'm going to trade crude oil, you take every setup. No messing around, you just do what you're told. So its expectancy is 0.5, the win rate is 60%. I'm achieving that in the real world now. I'm running it. I'm actually running it only 0.38 expectancy after like 3 months of trading it live. It requires checking the markets only 3 to 4 times per day for 5 or 10 minutes each time. So it's a total of about 40 minutes a day time commitment, and you do that throughout the day. So you can do it from a phone. You can do it while you're out and about. You don't have to be at home. Suitable for FX, futures, and CFDs. And I personally love this system, especially when the market gets in gear and trade and goes on a run. You're just going to get 4, 5, 6 winning trades in a row. It's really perfect for regular income generation. And this is what I would suggest if you're a guy that needs to earn 10 grand a month to keep the lights on at home. This is your system. So as well as that, we have our library of professional grade systems. So this isn't a bunch of stuff copied off the internet. The only systems in this are systems which I know for a fact that working professionals currently use, including systems currently traded by hedge funds and institutions, which isn't as complicated as it sounds. Those guys all trade pretty crappy systems sometimes. So we have this volatility breakout system for stocks. Its expectancy is 1.0, SQN 2.4. We have an average of 3.8% per week. And, if we look at some results from this, the short side doesn't perform very well at all. It's only a long side system. So we have 57. We have 57 entries. Sorry, we have on the long side we have 54% losing and 33% winning. So we have a very low win rate, and we have 9% break-even trades. On the short side, we have 68% losing trades and 30% winning trades. So in both these situations, we have very low win rate, and yet the expectancy, because the winners are all big winners, the expectancy is 1.0, which is twice the best performing system. So if you're emotionally the type of person that can handle a very low win rate and you want to trade stocks, this is probably a good system for you. Now, it works it does not work in bear markets. It works in stock bull markets, and quiet bull and medium volatility environments are best for it. So next we have the slot in bear market system, and no matter what you think of the current bull market, eventually it's going to end. Everything that has a beginning has an end, and we're 9 years in, right? So this is the short system for the highest performing long short system, hedge fund in Japan, and they trade it for individual stocks. We just adapt. The guy who ran it, who invented it, taught it to us, and we run it for stock indexes. It's a legitimately brilliant system for bear markets. What you do is you stop trading your long-only system. You start trading this. It only takes about one trade a month. It's not designed to make a lot of money. It just keeps you in the game. So next, we have the Shadows of Sakota trend-following system, and I spent many years in Ed's trading tribe group. Ed is a legendary market wizard type guy, and he's a great guy. And all of his students used to try and reverse engineer his trend-following rules, and he was really obtuse about it. He used to make up all these like Zen poems about it. He'd be, you'd ask him, what do you think of gold right now? And he'd say, I think it's shiny. It makes nice jewelry. So this is as close as we got in modeling it. There was a bunch of really good mathematicians there. And when we modeled it, it mirrors his returns almost exactly. So it's based, I can't say hand on heart that it's the same system that he trades, but he gave away a couple of things that allowed us to get very, very close to it, and it produces the same returns as him anyway, which is what matters. So it's surprisingly easy to execute, works off daily charts, and the positions are held for a very long time, so 6 months or more. So next we have the once-a-month core rebalancing system, and this is the system which actually trades the retirement funds for all the instructors at Van Tharp International. I learned it from them. It's a long-only ETF system, so once a month you're rebalancing your system, and you're holding a balanced portfolio of the strongest ETFs in the strongest sectors. It's based on very sound peer-reviewed portfolio theory, and it's designed to beat the market, and it does exactly what it's designed. Beats the market by a couple of percent. It's a perfect retirement account. So the next thing we have is our mean reversion cookbook, and mean reversion systems for stocks, they're the low-hanging fruit of system trading. So they're easy to design, they're easy to backtest, they're easy to execute. If you needed to start from scratch and get a working system in a month, mean reversion stock systems are where it's at. So what I share is a cookbook with every known entry type, exit, algo, and universe selection, and you choose one from each one, and then you backtest it. And the best way to backtest is with some retail software, which is really good, called AmiBroker. It's cheap, and it actually does portfolio level backtesting. This is the quickest way to model a high probability system. The advantages of these systems is they have win rates between 65 and 75%. They get up towards 75% if you don't take many trades. They go down to 65% if you take more trades, and they have very small wins. So small, frequent wins are emotionally easy to trade, suitable for beginner traders. So the next system is for expert traders. This is an intraday system for expert traders, originally by a guy called Ken Long, who's a magician he's an amazing trader with an extraordinarily high expectancy of 0.3, which for intraday trading is amazing.
Best intraday trader we've both ever seen, I think.
So you spent a lot of time with him. You saw this guy trade live. Your thoughts on this system?
It's a discretionary system. It's like one of Antharp's, the kind of systems that they teach where it's a hybrid, right? Mechanical discretionary, but it has a lot of preparation work. You have to prepare the night before. You have to do analysis. You have to pick a universe. It's not just get in and trade and shoot from the hip. You have a clear plan and then you execute it. But there are choices and decisions to make. You have to learn and gear up to it. It's an expert level system, but Ken does 10 to 30 R a day. I mean, he crushes it.
He's
some of his students do a fifth of that, and it's good enough to be professional.
Yeah, it's profitable 90% of days. So it requires a substantial time investment. You're going to need some help with it. So the third part of the system building masterclass is the real part, which is over 12 hours of videos. It's 70 videos and counting, covering every single aspect of building trading systems. It's designing entry techniques. It's classifying market type. It's rapid prototyping of systems. It's back testing and forward testing, both with and without computers. It's out of sample testing. It's designing exit algorithms. It's record keeping. It's conducting reviews. It's doing scatter plots and edge testing. It's doing rapid pen and paper back testing. It's back testing without programming. It's narrowing down the type of system and the market you should trade. It's got a section on low capital systems. It's got a section on cryptocurrency systems, which are a bit different. It covers both pure mechanical systems with some discretion and everywhere on that spectrum. It covers systems for FX, futures, ETFs, CFDs, stocks, and crypto. So you're going to learn every single aspect of building trading systems. At the end of this, there's not going to be anything you don't know. You're going to know everything I know, everything Daniel knows. It's a step-by-step, paint-by-numbers approach. Anyone can follow it. So I've just got a couple of screenshots for it. And so each section has subsections. So, you've got a few introduction, we get starting out, your first steps, find an edge, scatter plot, and it just goes on and on. We talk a lot, every possible situation you can think of is covered. We put it together, and we've got long-term systems, stock trading systems, intraday systems, all kinds of things. So my favorite part of the masterclass is deep dive hour-long videos on the most common trading system types. So if you're building a trend following system, you're going to face the same challenges I faced when I was building a trend following system. If you built a mean reversion system, you're going to face those same challenges. If you build a momentum system, you're going to face the same challenges. And so those things are very specific. So what I've got is these very deep dive videos with every possible thing that's going to come up. And so it just shortcuts the journey. So there's a heap of new stuff, which we've added for version 2.0. And I've got some bonuses and a special price, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And really cool stuff. It's going to help you get much faster results. Now, this is not available anywhere else, obviously. If you want to learn this privately from me, you can. I charge $10,000 US. There's a waiting list, and that's still great value. And this is a drastically more detailed and involved course than Van Tharp's Super Trader course, which I did, which only covers discretionary systems, doesn't cover pure mechanical systems at all. So there are other system building courses, but generally they only cover one aspect. So if you just want to design mean reversion stock systems, Cesar Alvarez has probably the best mean reversion for stocks. It's expensive, but it's a good course. If you just want to design discretionary systems, Van Tharp's course is great and $60,000. If you just want to do mean reversion FX systems, my friend Ernest Chan, I recommend his course. He's got a great course for programmers. Spoke to him yesterday about it, actually. If you happen to buy and like the Price Action Masterclass, this course has over 10 times the amount of content. And it builds on and expands on that material. So what it does is it shows you how to take that knowledge that you already have and shows you how to build high probability trading systems from the principles and setups you already know. So if you're going to learn this by trial and error, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And it's going to take you a long time. It's going to take you years and years. And that's even if you don't blow up your account along the way like I did. And what about the opportunity cost of investing in lesser quality garbage courses that really only just get you past beginner level instead of all the way to true expertise? And we all know that there's a bunch of shady, get-rich-quick, jumping out of Lamborghini into the private jet, in your rented Airbnb, trading coach, selling that bullshit, rich trader lifestyle, which I don't have. I'm a little guy sitting in my pajamas in my living room, I'm not I don't like that fake stuff. Or you could fall for the prediction gurus, which everyone is magnetically attracted to them. I fell for these arseholes at Elliott Wave International who told me that in 2010 that the stock market was about to start a 1 in 100 year decline and that I should go 2 times leverage short, which I didn't, thank God, but I still blew up anyway. And any of these prediction guru arseholes, that's a good way to lose your account. So who is this for? So this is for someone looking for a set of system rules they can learn and practice trading right away to get to professional level trading as quickly as possible. So it's for someone who already trades with a method that they've never been capable of testing. So a lot of us trade with systems and we just assume they're good because they came from some guy who's famous. So for your own peace of mind, you really ought to make sure of any system that you're betting real money on. Just makes logical sense that you should have done that already. So it's for someone who wants to optimize and improve an existing system that maybe they've got a system they like, but it's not performing up to the game. It's for someone who's designing a trading system, but they're stuck for ideas like I used to get stuck for ideas. So when you see how other professionals have solved the problems you're going to face, it's going to spark something in you. So it's for someone who has an idea for a trading system, but they don't know where to start. They need a step-by-step process for turning that dream into reality. And just as it's for someone, it's not for these type of traders. It's not for traders who just want to get better at chart reading. That's the price action masterclass. And that's a cool skill. It's fun. It's useful, but it's not the end game. It doesn't get you to where you want to go. It gets you part of the way, but the road from there to profitability doesn't exist. It's not for traders who want to predict the markets. That is a fool's errand. That's a good way to go broke in the long term. It's not for traders who want to be right all the time. You might have noticed that the highest performing system we quoted in that whole list of systems we went through had a win rate of 33%. That's no accident. I have the bulk of my personal wealth in a system that's sitting at 30% win rate, and it crushes it long term. So it's not for people who think you can buy the ultimate super system. All systems have pros and cons. All systems have strengths and weaknesses, and no system is going to work unless we're in a favorable market type. Trend following system isn't going to work unless you got a trend. Mean reversion system isn't going to work if you have got a trend. That's just the fact of it. Now, I hope you can see that this is not for everyone, but if it is for you, then it's going to be the best money you ever invested. So I base my whole trading business around this process. I've taught other people how to do it too. They now have their own successful trading businesses. And if all this did was let you make the jump from hobby trader to I make my living from trading the financial markets, would it be worth it? So if this stopped you from the inevitable disaster that happens when you try to trade doing the hardest type of trading there is, which is trading without a system, would that be worth it? If all this did was allowed you to compound your small account into something meaningful, would that be worth it? Now, for the new for the System Building Masterclass version 2.0, we've got a bunch of stuff that I'm very proud of. So we have this E-mini daily system. So I traded this in 2011. It was the first triple-digit return year I had. I traded 2 larger position sizes, to be honest. That's how I achieved that return. There was a significant degree of luck, and I wouldn't have traded it like that again. It's a daily chart pattern system based around a market hours edge. So it's based around the idea that the bulk of the E-mini volume is in the New York session. So we have the standard momentum system too. This is an amazing system. This is one that we're very proud of that I'll be implementing as soon as I possibly can. This is one for the record books. So we've taken logical and very small tweaks to our standard momentum model. And our standard momentum model was based on the Klinov model, which is the standard momentum model, which everyone uses now. And it's produced something very special. So it did 2006% return in the last 15 years. I'll show you the back test. We have the full code. For the first time, we have the full code, and you can just load it up and load it up online, run back tests. You can tweak, you can change leverage, you can change position sizing, you can model all kinds of things, and it's a fantastic learning experience. It executes once a week, which is amazing. So the NR7 daily chart stock trading system is an excellent and consistent edge, and it's a simple execution off daily charts. It's based on some old research by a guy called Toby Crabble, who was Linda Rashke's mentor, and all the research for this was done by an Indian quant trader friend of mine called Kirubakaran Rajujendran, I think. If I butchered his name, sorry, Karuba. Great system, great guy, very, very consistent. And we've got an hour-long breakdown on it by a guy he's an expert quant trader. He's been running this full auto for years. So this is the standard momentum system. It's got 26.6% compound annual growth rate. And this is 2003. This is 2018. It's gone up and up and up. You can see in the bad times, it completely sat out 2008. It just switches to cash when the bull market's over and then jumps back in about a third of the way through 2009, jumped back in and got balls deep again, jumped out briefly in that Brexit stuff and then jumped back in, and it's just ridden it all the way. It's a maximum drawdown in that whole 15 years of 21%. So momentum systems are once-a-week execution systems designed to beat the market, and beat the market this has. So the market's done, I think, 286%. This one's done 2006%. It's killing it. Okay, so new for the System Building Masterclass version 2.0, we have a 15-minute FX European pre-market system. This is my own system for trading from the hour before European pre-market open. So it trades for 2 hours per day only. It's 100% mechanical. It's very challenging to execute, but it has black and white objective rules. It's suitable for automation. It's a complicated system. It's a complicated system for expert traders, but there's no thinking involved. You just get on and do it. So there's no I like this one, I hate that one. So also we've got my 3 best guesses for long-term systems for capital appreciation. So what I did is I sat down with Daniel and we started to think about, if I was a 25-year-old guy and I wanted to compound a great fortune over the next 20 years, what would I be doing? So these are the systems that I think will compound quickly in the long term. So free with your membership, we have lifetime access to my practical trading psychology video course. I'm giving this only as part of the launch. In a week's time, this goes away. We charge $199 for this now. It's my exact pre-market routine to get into optimal flow state for trading. You're going to need this. It's my exact routine for dealing with drawdowns and for dealing with the unpleasant feelings that arise from trading. And the thing is, there's all these books on trading psychology, like the Mark Douglas one. Van Tharp has some. There's some great books, and they tell you all these big ass mistakes that you're going to make, but very few of them actually offer you any solution. So this course is about. It doesn't tell you that you should use stops or any of that simple stuff that the others all tell you, or you shouldn't listen to gurus. It talks about practical solutions, and it talks about the underlying psychology behind psychology problems. So free with your membership. For the first time, we're offering 4 15-minute mini consults with me over Skype. So this is $250 value. So what I have is I have an online calendar on calend.ly. You just you get that link, and anytime you're encountering a challenge or a hurdle, you're experiencing a drawdown, you don't know if you should take a setup, anything like that, or you're trying to decide how you should backtest. Should I start with pen and paper? Should I use Excel? Should I use Google Sheets? Is my backtesting spreadsheet okay? A 5-minute chat with me or a 15-minute chat with me is probably going to save you a lot of time. So especially when you get your results of the backtest and you go, is this good enough to trade, or how can I improve this? 15-minute chat with me is going to say, yeah, that's great, man. Just go ahead, or here's a couple of ideas for improving it. So nearly always I'm going to be able to make suggestions you wouldn't have thought of yourself, or save you a lot of time if you're about to do something stupid. So anytime you want some help, you just choose anything on my automated calendar that's available. And anyone who knows me knows I'm online a lot. And anytime you need my help, you got it. So you get 4 of those free as part of the bonus for the launch. So will this work for you? So if you go through the material and you can't build a trading system that makes money, then here's my guarantee. I'll spend up to 3 hours of my personal time with you. I'll try to set you straight at no cost. I'll help you towards the goal. And if after all that you still can't build and execute a positive expectancy trading system, I'm going to refund you. I'm going to give you money back, no questions asked. So I'm sure that you would agree that I could easily charge thousands of dollars for this course. And in the past, we've always raised the price by $100. And to celebrate the revised and improved system building masterclass, I'm actually not going to leave the price unchanged. I'm going to lower it by $100. So for the launch price, we're lowering it from $6.99 to $5.99 for the next week. This is the cheapest this will ever be. You're going to get the benefit of unlimited future upgrades. You're going to get to participate in my special live event, which is backtesting without programming skill on October 31, where I'm going to backtest one of the systems from the System Building Masterclass. I'm going to show you how to do it. We're just going to spend a couple of hours just grinding it out like monkeys with Excel. And you're going to get the full recording if you can't make it live. So this is the link. It's scottphillipstrading.com/system-building. So click the link below to buy the System Building Masterclass right now. Now, if all this did was to finally let you get some financial reward for the thousands of hours you spent learning this stuff, would that be worth it? So if all this did was cut your trading day down to 20 minutes a day, would that be worth it? Now, if all this did was let you stop using other people's setups and systems and settle down with one system, stick with it for years, just don't worry about all that other stuff, would that be worth it? Now, before we go, I'd like you to imagine how life is going to change a year from now. So you're going to have a full year of totally professional trading under your belt. You won't care what the market does tomorrow. Yeah, that's my cat. Your total focus will be on trading correctly. You're going to be calmer. You're going to be happier. You're going to be doing a fraction of the work. You're going to be making more money. And it's much more sustainable when you do it this way. So I'm going to strongly suggest that you go to this URL, scottphillipstrading.com/system-building, and buy now. And I want to thank you very much for your time today. I really think this is a fantastic course. I wish it was available for me. It's priced at an amazing launch price. And honestly, you should buy it. You really should. You're going to get a lot of use out of it.
All right, man. Thank you. No questions. I think I got them all in chat. I think everybody's good. Anybody got anything, email us. You want to hang around for a couple minutes? Sure. See if anybody has any questions? Did you have breakfast yet? That's my question. I got to get dinner.
Oh, I'd murder some breakfast, bro.
Where'd you get some kajal?
Oh, that's a great idea. No, because I just moved a couple of days ago. I haven't found a new kajal place.
Oh, so my pronunciation was pretty good, right? Oh, somebody's asking about the PDF. What are you doing with that? You're going to email it out?
Yeah, I'm going to email it out right now.
Cool.
Let me do that. And any guys, any questions you have about this setup or the system, just email them through. I'm not a dick about that stuff. I'm honestly here to help. Yeah, go buy that course. How many days till you move to Bangkok, dude?
Couple weeks.
Excellent. It's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So it's gonna be nice to be warm. You know, I'm in Kansas right now, and it's pretty cold. So
see if you still say that after a couple of months.
And it's not cold now, but it will be cold. I can just foresee a few months from now how it will be, and I'm already thinking about that. So, yeah.
Man, this is the land of sweaty balls. That's all I've got to say about that.
I like that, though. I like that.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I long for some cold. I'm anxious to get back to the snow. I might go to Japan for a couple of weeks and sit in the snow.
That's funny. Let me look at the chat. Any questions? Why Bangkok? Scott, why do you live in Bangkok? Because it's warm, it's cheap, and it's nice, right?
Pretty much, and because Kuntiak, come over here. Oh, you cannot. She's not dressed properly. Because my wife is Thai, and she's the most beautiful woman in the world, right? Yes?
We got a question here.
Yes, that's right.
Scott, I think I'm going to jump off. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Some questions in there, but I need some food. So you can jump on the chat. You got questions coming in about hammers, shooting stars, what is this about? Trading your systems, developing only. I would say shoot us an email. Anybody have anything we didn't cover? Email Scott at, Daniel at, and we'll help you out.
I'll just jump on the chat now on that live training page, right?
Yeah, you jump
Right.
on the chat. I'm going to disconnect. Thank you all. Later.